And when I was 15 years old, my father called me and told me my sister had died. And I told him on the spot that I wanted to be a physician. Nobody in either side of my family had ever become a physician, but I was driven since that age to want to pursue medicine. And I think the reason I did was that I wanted to make positive differences in people's lives, like my sister and my family. I had just come from a system in which everybody was getting coverage. There were no differences. If you were a private or a general, they all had access to health care. Our focus was to keep them healthy and to keep them well. If you take a frog and you put it in water and you slowly turn up the temperature, the frog will boil to death. But if you take the frog and you throw it into a pot of boiling water, it'll immediately jump out. And what I recognized was that I was the frog. I had been thrown from a functional, fully integrated healthcare system into a dysfunctional, fragmented, unaccountable, broken healthcare system, and I decided to jump out. So it was that I think motivated me to do something, to write something about our healthcare system. And I contend that if that hadn't have happened to me, and I'd come right out of residency into practice, and slowly had the temperature turned up on my pot of water, I would have been oblivious to it. I went in 2008 to a healthcare reform debate that was happening here in Boise. This was after President Obama had been elected, and both the United States Senate and the House of Representatives were contemplating healthcare bills. And so we had a forum here in Boise in terms of the discussion of concerns and questions and issues around healthcare and what needed to be changed. And what I didn't know is, it was on a Saturday afternoon. When I went, I took several of our residents here, our family medicine residents, with me. And what I didn't know is that the meeting had been co-opted by the Tea Party. And they came out in force. They were angry, they were upset with President Obama. In fact, I was struck with the anger, the lies, the myths, the racial epithets. I was shocked to see my fellow citizens acting in such an angry fashion over something that actually impacts us all in very positive ways. The lies and myths around death panels and rationing and governmental takeover, as opposed to what could be done to help people have better lives, better health, and for those generations to come. And when I was walking out of there, I said to my wife, "Oh my God, I can't believe this. I just am shocked." And so again, she said to me very profoundly, "So Ted, what are you going to do about it?" It was at that moment that I decided that I was going to write this book, with the purpose being to better educate the American public as to what the issues are, so that the American public can be better informed, less afraid, and start to make the right decisions around healthcare that affects all of us. I learned that what we don't have is a healthcare system, but a wealth care system. There are a lot of forces in play that want to keep the status quo just as it is to generate income. And that bothers me a bit. Not that we all can't make a living, but what we should be in healthcare for is to try to help people have better lives. It shouldn't be about us. It should be about them. I'm trying to get the message across to anybody that will listen, but most importantly, the American public. I want the discerning, intelligent American public to become more aware of what the problems are. I contend that there is a lack of education and a lack of knowledge about our healthcare system. For instance, I've heard for too many years that we have the best healthcare system in the world. Well, that's not true at all. And in fact, we rank 37th in the world for our healthcare outcomes. And when it comes to a fair, just, and equitable system, we rank 54th in the world. And I'm shocked for a nation as brilliant as I think America is, that spends more than any other country on the planet on healthcare, in fact 4 times the European average, that we can have such a disconnect in our healthcare system. We truly have a have and have not system where the rich can get what they want as soon as they want it, but where the poor live sicker and die younger. It became an issue of social equality for me. Winston Churchill once said that America will always do the right thing after it tries every other option. And I think that's where we're at right now. We're trying all sorts of fragmented, unaccountable, non-integrated approaches to healthcare. And what I am passionate about is that if we focus on good primary care, if we focus on access to healthcare, the right people going to the right places at the right times for the right reasons, that we're going to help a whole lot more people in the process. What I'm hoping is that we'll start to focus more on health than focusing on disease. We have a distorted way we're looking at healthcare. We're looking more at disease care. We're looking at sickness care. We're not looking at healthcare. What healthcare would do is keep people from needing all these things downstream. It's like we've built the best fire department in the world. We have all these hooks and ladders and fire engines, and we fight fires like nobody else. But nobody's asking the questions about what's causing the fires. How can we prevent the fires from happening? That's the focus of this book. That's what I'm trying to do.